Hello, my pack, my tribe. Welcome to Howling After Dark. Tonight's going to be awesome. It is. For those of you that didn't catch my show on Monday, we were doing true crime. Kind of a recap on some stuff I've covered before. And we were talking about what is arguably the most prolific serial killer of all time, Edward Wayne Edwards. To this day, we don't really have proof that he's responsible for everything that we think he's responsible for, but there's a good chance he was responsible, blah blah, tongue-tied, for, among others, the Black Dahlia, the West Memphis Three, the Zodiac killings, Jean-Benet Ramsey, uh, just Lacey Peterson has actually been brought into question because of him. So, and we were discussing how his MO is that he commits these crimes, but then he very smartly removes all trace of himself, but by pointing evidence towards an innocent suspect. He did it with the West Memphis Three. We are really very certain. Once again, we can't prove it. A lot of the evidence is circumstantial at best, and it's going to be hard, if not impossible, to prove his connection to any of these crimes because he's since passed away. He died in 2010. He admitted to 5 murders, but the 5 murders in question have very similar MOs to these famous murders. One was actually double murder. He actually admitted to from early 1950s. Bears a striking resemblance to the Zodiac killings. It was a couple in a car parked at a lover's lane, and he walked up and shot them, just like the Zodiac did, on multiple occasions. Another murder he admitted to, very striking resemblance to the Black Dahlia. Almost, exactly the same. Another murder that we know that he is connected to, also had a lipstick message written on a mirror this time, as opposed to the Black Dahlia's message being written on her body. And it just goes on and on and on. I mean, this dude was sick. He was freaking twisted. Now, I can't tell anybody, what to believe or what have you. And like I said, there is no concrete evidence connecting him to these crimes. It is all circumstantial at best. But, and this is just my opinion, if it looks like shit, and it smells like shit, chances are it's shit. And that's what it's like with this, because I mean, we can't say beyond the shadow of a doubt that he did all these things. But like personally, just me, in my heart of hearts, he did these things. There is no doubt to me personally. But once again, I can't tell anybody what they should believe. So I urge all my listeners to check out this website. This guy, I do believe he actually kind of crossed paths with Edward Wayne Edwards at some point. Because Edwards was actually arrested before in Montana for similar crimes. And this gentleman, John A. Cameron, not to be confused with the John Cameron from the movie business, a different John Cameron, was a former Montana State Trooper who wrote this book called It's Me, Edward Wayne Edwards, the Serial Killer You've Never Heard of. And in it, he kind of highlights uh, like why he thinks that it's all Edwards, and it's solid. You know, like nowadays, if this were a live suspect, and we were to work this case from like one town, and have all the stuff that this guy collected on him and band it together, it would make a great circumstantial case and could actually lead to a conviction. But because these were crimes committed in several different states over a 66-year period, not really anything we can do. Add to that the fact that, the guy's since died. But we are very, very, very certain, even if we were to call everything else that we believe about him into question, we are very certain that he is responsible for the West Memphis Three. For those of you that are unfamiliar with that case, it was, in my opinion, the greatest miscarriage of justice in recent history. These three boys, Damien Eccles and his two friends, whose names actually escape me. Actually, let me pull that up real quick. But these three boys, they were all teenagers at the time, were arrested because of how they looked. I mean, West Memphis, Arkansas, it's Bible Belt. It's about as Bible Belt as you can get. And these three boys were like into goth type stuff. Damien Eccles in particular had long dark hair, wore black all the time, listened to goth music and everything. And that's what everything that the prosecution was setting down was based on. And it's ridiculous that, and this happened in the 90s, so it wasn't that long ago. And these kids basically grew up in prison. They spent 20 years in prison. And like personally, like I'm glad that they're out now, because I think that's the only just thing that could have happened. But what pisses me off, and why I will never ever go to West Memphis or even that state, is very simple. It's because of the simple fact that they convicted these kids simply based on their lifestyle and the music that they listened to and how they looked. And it was Damien Eccles, Jason Baldwin, and Jesse Miskelly, who were at the time ages 18, 16, and 17, were convicted and sent to prison based on their lifestyle, because they were goth kids and they were into like heavy metal music. And in little podunk West Memphis, Arkansas, that meant that they were Satan worshipers, and blah blah blah. and they spent 20 years in prison for it. And it's absolute horseshit. It is. It is. You know, I don't give a damn. You know, it's horseshit. That's all they were convicted. There was no DNA evidence pointing to them. There was no fiber analysis pointing to them. There was nothing pointing to them, other than the fact that they live in the same area where these three young kids were killed. But here's why I think it was Edwards. They made a documentary about this case called Paradise Lost. And in that documentary, and actually you can see the clip of it on YouTube, in that documentary, there is a scene where one of the child's parents were at his gravesite, and they were talking about, you know, everything that happened. And you know, you see the mother crying and the father's, you know, comforting her as they're crouched in front of the gravestone. And in the background, you can see old man Edwards walking back and forth into the frame of the camera, almost as if he were taunting them and taunting the police. And nobody made that connection. So, yeah, absolute bullshit on that one, but hey, there it is. In any case, I urge you to check out coldcasecameron.com. That's coldcasecameron, one word, .com. And look at stuff there, because he provides like a full like timeline of events, including this West Memphis 3 case. And, you know, this guy was a total psychopath. And he admitted freely to 5 different murders. And all 5 of them match these other crimes. Very exact same MO and everything. But because, you know, he's now dead and there was no physical evidence left behind, and et cetera, nothing can ever be done. I mean, they're going to be cold cases forever. Basically, they're going to remain unsolved. And it's sad. You know, it really is. It's terrible. And I knew it was him. You wouldn't need a courthouse. Wouldn't need to go to court at all. You wouldn't, because I would take care of it real quick. You know, that's how I feel about it. Like, cause like he didn't. I wouldn't care, honestly, and this is just my opinion. You know, I wouldn't care as much about this guy if it wasn't for the fact that he committed crimes against children. That, more than anything, is really what put him on my radar. But, well, nobody's in my chat room. Otherwise, I'll go ahead and post it anyways, just in case somebody comes in. I'm going to post the link for coldcasecameron.com in my chat room if anybody wants to check it out. But, anyways, the reason I'm talking about this tonight, by the way, in case you weren't there on Monday, is because I actually ran out of time. Yeah, so, that's weird. I don't know if you can hear me, folks, or not, but it appears that my broadcasting console for Spreaker has frozen. So I'm not entirely sure if you're hearing me right now. But I'm looking at this timeline, this killer's timeline for Edwards, and it says this. In 1991, West Palm Beach, Florida, Edward sends Scorpion Zodiac killer letters to America's Most Wanted host John Walsh, father to Adam Walsh. John Walsh does not release them publicly until 2006. Edwards will taunt John Walsh throughout the 90s and 2000s. August of 1992, Fort Collins, Colorado, an arrest warrant is issued for Timothy Masters for the 1987 killing of Peggy Hetrick in Fort Collins. One police officer refuses to arrest him. Another demands he be arrested. Masters is not arrested, but will be in 1998. The victim in the Timothy Masters case has been precisely cut with a scalpel like Edward Wayne Edwards did to Suzanne Degnan in 1947, the Black Dahlia in 1946, the Black Dahlia in 1947, Chicago 3 victims in 1955, and in the West Memphis 3 victims in 1993. July 2nd through the 9th of 1993 in Burton, Ohio. After killing the 3 boys in West Memphis, Edwards taunts the FBI with a letter detailing his criminal record. If the information Edwards provided had been followed up on, Edwards would have been identified. Every city listed as where Edwards killed got stopped and talked to and had a file put on him by the FBI. And I'm going to go ahead and post this link. If anybody wants to check this out, it's a YouTube link. The video clip showing the parents with Edwards in the background for the West Memphis 3. March 17th to the 18th of 1994. West Memphis, Arkansas. Case goes to jury, and Damien Eccles and Jason Baldwin are convicted for killing the three 8-year-old boys in West Memphis, which is totally bullshit, and we already did that. February 6, 1996. Fresno, California. Edwards kidnaps 2-year-old Matthew Morby from his bed while his mother slept. He holds his body for 3 days. The suspects become the parent and boyfriend, whose name is Jesus. Let's see. It just goes on and on. Federal court in Denver, Colorado. Edwards will kill Jean-Benet Ramsey in Boulder, Colorado 6 months before the trial of Timothy McVeigh starts in Denver. Man, it just goes on and on and on and on. Oh my god, this guy is responsible for so many deaths and killings, it's ridiculous. And then we jump ahead to the 2000s. May 1st. Let's see. Stop that. Sorry, Paige isn't cooperating with me. January 2nd, 2000, Boulder, Colorado. 3-year-old Jared Atadero kidnapped. Hold on 1 second. Let's see. I can't tell how much time I have left because the thing froze, so I'm going to try something. If I get disconnected, folks, don't worry, I'll be right back.